Okay, let's see if this works again. Let's see if this works. Let me see if y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me? Just say yes. Just say yes if you can hear me. Please say yes. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Oh my God, man. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Just so y'all can hear me. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Okay. Phew, sorry about that. I don't know what's happening. Usually we use the camera, but today I don't know what's up with that. So I said let's use the mic. So thank God you guys can hear me. Everybody can hear me. Okay, thank God. Okay, okay. Let's do it again. I'm gonna wait for you guys to check in. Mark, what's good? I see you. How you guys doing? I'm not gonna stay on too long tonight, but I definitely want to get into this trade because this is a blockbuster trade. A blockbuster trade, man. So first of all, I thought that free agency started on August 2nd because if you go to NBA.com, that's what they said. It starts on August 2nd. So I was like, okay, there's nothing happening right now. As a matter of fact, I was sitting there like, well, we pretty much did all our work for this month. So we're pretty much good. And then I just kept on getting notifications on my phone. And I'm like, this guy got traded. This guy got traded. I'm like, am I missing something right now? I'm like, no, no way. And then I check my phone and I see Russell Westbrook gets traded to the Lakers. So that's definitely what I want to get into tonight. I know you guys, we're going to start talking about basketball again. I actually thought we were another week away before we talked about hardcore basketball. So we're going to talk about some basketball. We're going to be talking about the Lakers and what this does for the Western Conference. I'm going to give you my thoughts on how I think this trade impacts the Lakers as far as their team. And so that's what I want to get into. So I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to get in. Make sure y'all hit the likes, and I'm going to get up all the information here for this trade. Let me see all the players that they moved because this is a pretty big trade. So let me just pull up some of these stats right here of Russell Westbrook because I want to make sure I got all of this information in front of me. So make sure you guys check in and let me pull up all this information here. And then we're gonna get it started. So let me just pull that up real here. Let me pull up some stats, and then we're gonna get it started. I just want to get this information out there right now. And then let me get the Lakers roster. I want to look at the Lakers current roster right now. So that's what I want to look at while some of these stats load. Okay. So I see some of you guys are coming in now. Let me see how many people we got in here. Okay, about 20 people. Let's just give it like another minute or so and then we get started. I got a lot of stuff I want to do. So we're going to break this down. It's been a minute since we spoke about basketball like this. So looks like we're about to get back into the swing of things here. And this is pretty exciting. So make sure y'all hit the likes. Let's give it about another minute. Let me see who's coming in here. Yo, Jalen, what's good? Okay, I see some people already saying Lakers versus Lakers versus the Brooklyn Nets. I can definitely understand that. LA traded KCP, Harrell, Kuzma, and the first. Okay, let me see what else. Let me see who else we got coming in here. Okay, so people will catch up to this live as we go. Make sure y'all hit the likes so more notifications go out, and then let's just get into it here. Okay, so this is a blockbuster move. Okay, this is a blockbuster move. It looks like people have been talking about the Lakers definitely going to make another decision to get some to add another piece. So it looks like this is what they ended up doing. I thought, given the fact that Shannon Sharp just did a podcast, if you guys know Uncle Shay Shay's Club or whatever it's called, he did a podcast with DeMar DeRozan. And DeMar DeRozan said that, yeah, I think I can play well with LeBron James. So I thought that they were basically letting us know that the Lakers were definitely interested in DeMar DeRozan. Now, some of the things that I've heard of this, I've heard that DeMar DeRozan, I don't know how true it is, but I heard that he would be willing to come back and play in LA. Because remember, this guy's DeMar DeRozan is I think he's from Compton, California, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's from Compton, California. So I think they said that he would be willing to take less money to come back home and play with the Lakers. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but I also heard the same thing about Kyle Lowry. That's what I heard. I see some people are talking about LeBron James, the greatest stack of all time. We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but I want to talk about this trade real quick because I think this is a blockbuster trade. Because I think right now, Laker fans, I think there are two groups. I think you have Laker fans that are diehard Laker fans that are really happy for this move, and they're going to be excited about it. And then I think you have LeBron James fans who are also a part of this kind of mix right now. So I think we have kind of like a mixed batch, but let me just focus in on the trade for now. So basically, according to ESPN, let me post the link right here for some of the people that haven't. Let me post it in the chat so some of you guys can read it when you have a chance. So I'm going to post that here. This is from ESPN.com. Let me just pin this to the top so you guys can read that while I go through it or whatever it is. So basically, according to ESPN, the Lakers have agreed to deal to get to the Washington Wizards to acquire Russell Westbrook. In return, they traded away Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and the number 2 pick on Thursday night's draft. Okay, so before we even get into this trade, the first person I want to address real quick, and we may do a video about this, goddamn Montrezl Harrell, man. Montrezl Harrell. I just got to say this. But talk about a fall from grace. Just 2 years ago, or just a season ago, Montrezl Harrell was the 6th man of the NBA. He was playing on a championship contender with the Los Angeles Clippers, but Montrezl Harrell wanted to feel like as if he was one of the he wanted to feel like as if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George needed to kind of prove themselves to him. Instead of just humbling himself, playing his role, he wanted to make waves. I don't know if LeBron James told him the grass was going to be green on the other side, but he completely misbehaved in the Orlando bubble. He didn't show up. Before you know it, Clippers said, "We don't want you anymore." He went to LA. He went from being the 6th man of the year to the 9th man of the year on the Lakers bench. And now he's been traded, if I'm not mistaken, to the Washington Wizards. So we just got to take a moment and just look at Montrezl Harrell on his way out with his bags and say, golly, you were in a situation where you were with the team that wanted you. Instead of just playing your role, you completely misbehaved. You fell out of the rotation, and basically you just ended up being a bargaining chip for a trade a year later to get Russell Westbrook. So I just wanted to talk about Montrezl Harrell. Now that we got that out the way, let's talk about Kyle Kuzma, because Kyle Kuzma has been one of the most inconsistent players you can think of. We're talking about the Lakers right now. Kyle Kuzma has been one of the most inconsistent players on that Lakers roster for the past few years. If you look at the people that Kyle Kuzma, that were in his age group, right? His let's say the class of players he was in. You're talking of Lonzo Ball, you're talking about Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma. Brandon Ingram has gone on to sign a max contract. Lonzo Ball is one of the best young point guards in the NBA. He's definitely a top 10 point guard in the NBA. So these guys have actually gotten better. And funny enough, Lonzo Ball came into the NBA with more. Lonzo Ball came into the NBA with more pressure. So it's not like as if a lot of people were expecting a lot of things from Kyle Kuzma. Lonzo Ball just steadily got better. And now he's one of the most coveted point guards out there in the free agency market right now. So shout out to Lonzo Ball. But Kyle Kuzma hasn't gotten any better, and he's very inconsistent. And I think this is the reason why Kyle Kuzma didn't improve. I just think LA is not meant for everybody, man. The moment I knew Kyle Kuzma was not going to work out with the Lakers was when he started coloring his hair. I was like, wait a minute. This dude looks like he's more caught up in the life in the life of LA and trying to be glossy and all of this different stuff than actually being focused on basketball. I think Kyle Kuzma was more focused on making a fashion statement off the court than actually making a statement on the court with his game. So you knew the Lakers had to get rid of him. And I know a lot of Lakers fans, you can even listen to Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp was tired of Kyle Kuzma, so they had to get rid of him. Although he's a young, talented player, he was extremely inconsistent. So I can understand the Lakers wanting to get rid of him. So let's talk about the Lakers roster before we address this Russell Westbrook thing, because I think the Lakers knew, from what I understand, from how I'm seeing this thing, I think the Lakers knew that they needed to do something going into the season. They needed to do something. They just couldn't stand pat. I think at the end of this season that just passed, the Lakers probably looked at the landscape in the NBA, especially in the Western Conference. And I think it was clear to see that the Lakers, you could not definitively say that the Lakers were better than the Clippers. The Clippers proved that they were the deepest team in the NBA, or at the very least, the deepest team in the Western Conference. They were the deepest team. The Clippers have a plethora of talent. And I think the Lakers looked at that. They looked at that first round exit. Given the fact that Anthony Davis was injured, they looked at their roster and they're like, listen, we're not getting enough. We don't have enough depth, and we don't have enough versatility. And the size that we have is not working. Now, I said this initially when they traded for, what's his name, Andre Drummond. I said that Andre Drummond wasn't going to work out the way a lot of people felt that he was going to work out, and it turned out to be the case. The Lakers knew they had to do something. They knew that. So now the Lakers had a few issues last year. A few issues. One of those issues was this. If we look at the regular season stats, okay, and we look at field goal percentage of all the teams, the Lakers were actually number 12 in overall field goal percentage. That wasn't the case the year before. The teams that were actually shooting better from the field in the top 5, I want you guys to think about this, because when you think about the Lakers, you think about size. The teams in the top 5 were the Brooklyn Nets, the Phoenix Suns, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Denver Nuggets, and the LA Clippers. These were the top 5 teams as far as field goal percentage, and all four out of those 5 teams were in the Western Conference. But the other issue with the Lakers was this, and I think this was their biggest issue, one of their biggest issues, but as a team, as a collective, I think this was the Lakers' biggest issue. If you look at the Clippers ranked number 1 in the NBA in three-point shooting percentage, number 1 at 41.4%. The Lakers as a team ranked number 21. One of the issues that the Lakers had was three-point shooting. Was a glaring issue, and it was affecting LeBron James's game. If you look at LeBron and you go back to Cleveland, LeBron was at his best, or usually is at his best, when number 1, he's playing with a lot of veterans. LeBron likes to play with veteran guys that know exactly what the hell they're doing. And number 2, he likes to play with a lot of guys that can space the floor. He loves that. One of the reasons you saw Chris Bosh become a perimeter player. One of the reasons you saw Kevin Love, instead of becoming a post-dominant player, he became a perimeter player. Kyrie Irving can score from the perimeter. You had, who was the other three-point shooter that they had? I think at one point they had Kyle Korver on the team. J.R. Smith can hit threes. Ryan Newsom, I think Montrezl's perfect team to go to is the Utah Jazz. You could have a good point with that, Ryan. You could have a very good point with that. I'm going to process that. I think you have a good point with that. I think you're making a good point. But just to continue here with the Lakers. So LeBron, I think, does well when he has a lot of veteran guys, a lot of fours that are versatile, threes and fours that space the floor. The Lakers were horrendous when it came to three-point shooting. If you look at the teams this year in the Western Conference that were really duking it out in the end, there were 4 teams. The Clippers, who were number 1 in three-point shooting. The Utah Jazz, who were number 1 in three-point makes. We're talking about in the Western Conference. You have the Phoenix Suns, who can make three-pointers. And who was the last team? And I think the Denver Nuggets, right? But we're talking about a shorthanded Denver Nuggets. And one of my things that I always said was this. I know the Lakers are a very good team, but my issue was I didn't know if they would be able to score enough points with the Clippers. This was the reason I gave the Clippers the edge over them all season long. If you guys go back, listen to some of my lives, you listen to some of my, this was some of the things that I said. I said the Lakers, I'm not sure they can get enough points on the board. As a defensive team, they were ranked, I think they were either ranked number 1 or number 2 as far as defensive rating. But you also got to put the ball in the bucket. The Clippers were making about 14.5 3-pointers a game. 14.5 3-pointers a game. If I look at the Lakers and I pull up their team stats, just give me a second here. Let me pull up their team stats because I want to do an in-depth kind of analysis on this trade. And I also want to talk about how this affects the Western Conference and the Clippers, the Lakers, and all of this. So I want you guys to just stick around with me. Let me pull up the Lakers. Let me pull up some data here on the Lakers real quick. So just give me a second. I have some information here on the Lakers. Okay, just give me a second here. Let me pull this up. Okay, I just got it. I want to talk about the Lakers in depth because I want a lot of people to understand just exactly what just happened. Because if you listen to a lot of people like Shannon Sharp and these guys on TV, they're going to give you guys, I mean, they're going to hype you up. But I definitely want to talk about the X's and O's about this. So just give me a second here. And let me pull up I want to pull up the Lakers stats here. So let me see if I can pull up why can't I pull up the Lakers? It's like a lot of these websites right now are messing up. I don't know what the hell is going on. Let me see teams. Okay, let me just pull up the Lakers stats here. I'm not sure what the heck is going on here, but actually I can pull it up right here. If I look at the Lakers and I look at teams with 3-point makes per game, okay, the Lakers, if we're talking about 3-point makes per game, as I said, the Utah Jazz were number 1. The Utah Jazz in the regular season were making, think about this, 16.7 3-pointers a game. That's what they were making per game. If you look at the Lakers, the Clippers were making 14.4, but the Lakers were making 11.1. The Lakers were making 11.1 3-pointers a game, and I said that's not going to be enough. When people were getting excited about DeAndre Drummond, or whatever his name is, I think Andre Drummond, they were overlooking that aspect. The Lakers didn't need, yes, they needed size because Marc Gasol wasn't giving them what Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee was giving them. We understood that, so they had to get size, but it still didn't address their number one issue, which was 3-point shooting. In my estimation, this was one of the issues. So some of you guys, after listening to that, you must be saying, well, if you know this, the Lakers know this. So why in the hell would they go out there and sign Russell Westbrook? Here's the decision I think the Lakers had to make. And I think they had to sit down and ask this question. This is what I think went into that decision with the Lakers to sign Russell Westbrook. I think the Lakers looked at their roster and they said, listen, LeBron James is our best player, no doubt about it. He's our best player. AD is our future star, but LeBron is our best player. But there's a problem. The problem is LeBron will be turning 37 years old this year. And if you look at the Lakers team, they are a different team when LeBron is on the floor as the primary ball handler versus when he goes off the floor. I think LeBron James looked at the scenario and said, listen, would I rather have another ball handler that can help me with my ball handling responsibilities? Or would I try to go out there and get some other 3-point shooters and still not have another ball handler? And God forbid I get injured or something like this happens, the team is just going to go downhill. So I think the Lakers had to address one of the two. They said, listen, I'm not sure we can get both. And given the fact that they just traded away KCP, it just proved to you that they couldn't get both. The Lakers, I think, decided that they wanted to get some athleticism, they wanted to get some rebounding, and they wanted to get another playmaker. Hey, appreciate that, Jan. Appreciate that. We appreciate that. I think that was the decision that the Lakers made. They said we need another ball handler to help LeBron. Now, what does this mean as far as LeBron James? Does it mean that LeBron is going to be more of a finisher? Because this is the first time I can think of that LeBron is going to be playing with a ball dominant point guard. With a ball dominant point guard. So I think LeBron James and Russell Westbrook probably had a conversation, and probably, this is just what I'm thinking. LeBron said, you know what? I'm willing to play off the ball this year. You can be the primary decision maker, and I'll play off the ball, and we can share the ball handling responsibilities. This is probably what I think happened. Again, for the people that are coming into this live, make sure y'all hit the like button. I would appreciate that. Appreciate that so much. I think the Lakers knew they couldn't stand pat. They couldn't stay the same and go into the season. They knew that. So they had to make a decision. And with this particular decision, they said, we're going to get another ball handler. Now, let's talk about Russell Westbrook, and let's talk about what he brings to the team. LeBron says, I'm stopping Russ getting my triple doubles anymore. He finessed him. Okay. All right. So let me pull up Russell Westbrook's stats here. I want to pull up Russell Westbrook's stats because Russell Westbrook is a double-edged sword. He is a double-edged sword. So let's talk about Russell Westbrook. And I think Laker fans know this. And I want to be one of the first kind of content creators out there, one of the first media companies out there to say it now on trade day, that there's a double-edged sword to Russell Westbrook. If people get on TV tomorrow on Friday and they start hyping up this trade, I want you to bear in mind that is a major plus for Russell Westbrook, but is a major minus. And I want Laker fans that are watching this live, I want you guys to be aware of this. Let's talk about Russell Westbrook for a second. Russell Westbrook, just this last season, just finished averaging another triple-double. He scored 22 points per game. He averaged 11.11 rebounds and 11.11 assists. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to be able to find numbers out there in the NBA like that. You're just not going to. This is what the Lakers know. There's no place they're going to go and get numbers like this. There's nobody in the NBA that's putting up these type of numbers. So from a talent standpoint, they just got more talented. Another thing, they also got younger. Okay, because Russell Westbrook, if I'm not mistaken, according to NBA.com, how old is Russell Westbrook? He must be, he's 32 years old. He's going to be about 5 years younger. He's turning 33 this year. So he's a little bit younger than LeBron James, a few years younger. He's a little bit older than Anthony Davis, but he's still a younger guy. And Russell Westbrook takes care of himself. He's in fantastic shape. So he must be although he's 32, he must be like 29, 28. If you look at his body and the way he takes care of himself, Russell Westbrook looks like he's in tip-top shape, right? So it's not like I said they didn't get an athlete that's in great shape. They got a great athlete. So Russell Westbrook is a guy that can go out there and get you 11 plus assists per game. Very hard to find that in the NBA. I think James Harden was the guy that led the league in assists. But Russell Westbrook is pretty talented at getting assists. Now, some people say that he force feeds assists. It's not as natural as LeBron James. Is Russell Westbrook as good a passer as LeBron James? Hell no, right? The way LeBron thinks the game and his feel for the game, when to make the right play, when to score, when to pass, is at another level. You're talking about Magic Johnson, John Stockton, Jason Kidd type of level, right? He's at that mental wavelength when it comes to being a point forward, right? And a guy that knows how to run a team. But Russell Westbrook is a damn good passer of the ball. LeBron can't play off the ball. He's a career below average mid-range. Well, thanks for that, Mark. This is why I said this is not the perfect trade, and I'm going to get to that. Okay, thank you very much for that. Actually, now that we're talking about it, so Russell Westbrook can get you assists. The issue is this, to Mark's point. For Russell Westbrook to get you those assists, he needs to be pounding the ball. His usage rate is going to be high. And because his usage rate is going to be high, who does that affect, to Mark's point? Mark Law. Who does that affect? That affects LeBron. Why? How do the Lakers match up against the Clippers now that they have Russell Westbrook? Don't worry, I'm going to get to that. How does that, thank you for that. I'm going to get to that question. How does this affect LeBron? Historically, LeBron is not a good off the ball player. Historically, this is not a knock. This is not any me dissing him. If you ask basketball heads, they'll tell you LeBron is not a off. He's not good at playing without the ball. I can give you some examples of people that are good at playing without the ball in their hands and still effective on the offensive side of the floor. Just some guys so you guys can understand. Kevin Durant. If you look at Kevin Durant, a lot of his offense comes in motion. He's always moving. He's always in motion. KD doesn't need the ball. He doesn't need to pound the ball. He doesn't need multiple screens unless he decides to go ISO. But KD usually plays off the ball. Who else is good at playing off the ball? Kawhi Leonard. Who else is good at playing off the ball? Paul George. Who else is good at playing off the ball that is a scorer? Damian Lillard at times. Pat Bev must be loving this. He's like, "Hey, buddy, remember we neighbors." Appreciate that. So LeBron is not good at playing off the ball. Number one. Number two, if LeBron is going to be off the ball, LeBron is going to be in a lot of catch and shoot scenarios. Let me say this about LeBron, and I have to be honest. If you go back and look at LeBron James from when he came into the NBA versus now, the guy has improved as a shooter. He has improved. LeBron is not my favorite player of all time, but you got to give credit where it's due. He has improved. I remember when he came into the NBA, he was not a good jump shooter. He turned himself into a serviceable, reliable mid-range jump shooter. He got better. I'm not going to say LeBron can't shoot. He can shoot. He can shoot a lot better than Giannis, and he can shoot a lot better than Russell Westbrook, who I want to get to now. Here's one of the issues with Russell Westbrook. Number one, he has to dominate the ball for it to be effective. That's number one. But the problem is, given the fact that Russell Westbrook has to dominate the ball, this brings into question his decision making. And this is where, if I'm a Lakers fan, I would be a little bit worried. Russell Westbrook is not the best decision maker with the ball. I don't care what anybody says. Just because he can get 11 assists does not mean he's a great decision maker. You know who's a better decision maker than Russell Westbrook with the ball? LeBron James and James Harden. James Harden can go in a game, get you 12 assists, 25 points, and you win the game. Russell Westbrook can get you 30 points, 16 assists, and you'll lose that game. And you ask yourself, you look at, but how? This guy has so many assists. Why did we lose? For whatever reason, Russell Westbrook during his career has not distinguished when is the best time to pass the ball. And other point guards are much better at that, like Chris Paul. He's not very good at that. He has the talent, he has the skill to pass the ball. The problem with Russell Westbrook, he doesn't know when to pass the ball. This is not an issue LeBron James has. Look at LeBron James. He led the league in assists 2 years ago at 10 point something, 10.5 or so assists per game. His team went to the NBA Finals. Russell Westbrook's team, he was averaging 11.7 assists per game. The team got knocked out in the play-in tournament. This is the fundamental difference. He's not the best decision maker. So if I'm the Lakers coach, a Lakers fan, I got to ask myself a question. Who do I want with the ball more? I want LeBron. But the problem is LeBron can't always run the offense. Otherwise, you're going to run the guy into the ground. He's turning 37 years old, so you're running him into the ground. So this is an issue. This is a major issue. A major issue. So, did the Lakers get better from a talent standpoint? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I still don't think they've addressed their number one issue, which is three-point shooting, which brings me to Russell Westbrook's statistics. I want to give you guys some numbers on Russell Westbrook, some figures. And I think I hope you guys are sitting down when I give you this, because this is going to knock you off your rocks. Let me give you guys some of Russell Westbrook's percentages. Russell Westbrook last season shot 44% from the field. That's good. It's not great, but it's good. He shot 31.5% from the three. 31.5% from the three-point line this season. Okay. That's what he shot in the regular season. Do you know who shot 1 percentage point worse than Russell Westbrook? Do you know who shot 1 percentage point worse? The guy that they say can't shoot, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Russell Westbrook shot 31% from the three. Giannis shot 30. I want you guys to let that sink in. Russell Westbrook and Giannis are basically the same three-point shooter. Remember, we're talking about three-point shooting. This is not what this numbers that I'm giving you. This breakdown is not what ESPN is going to give you. We're going into this. We're going into the numbers here. Okay, so he shot 31% from the 3-point line. From the free throw line, Russell Westbrook shot 65.6% from the free throw line. 65 point, what is it? 65 point what? 65.6% from the free throw line. That is horrendously bad for a point guard. That is horrendous. Do y'all know who shot a better free throw percentage last season than Russell Westbrook? You're not going to believe it. The person that shot a better free throw percentage was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo, that they said cannot shoot, that they said has no skill, shoots better from the free throw line. What do you mean, why am I hating? Am I the one that, wait a minute, somebody said, why am I hating? Am I the one that went out there and shot 65.6% from the free throw line? Is it me? I'm talking in the past. Okay, great. No problem. If you believe that Russell Westbrook is going to go from being a 65% free throw shooter, okay, wait a minute. The people feel that I'm hating. What do y'all think Russell Westbrook is going to shoot this season? So where am I going with this? What do you mean, where am I going with it? I'm going with it that if the dude gets fouled, he's going to hurt you at the free throw line. That's exactly where I'm going with it. Am I talking to casuals or am I talking to people that understand basketball here? This doesn't sound like as if I'm talking to somebody that understands basketball. It sounds like somebody that has their Lakers bed sheets wrapped around them right now, running around their house in their socks, and they don't want to hear anything about any kind of logic. And I'm sitting here giving you some facts, and you're talking about I'm hating. No, you need to do some research. What kind of fandom is this? The dude can't shoot, and you talking about I'm hating, like as if I'm the one that went out there and shot 65.6% from the field. I'm reporting the information to you, and you're getting upset with the person that reported it instead of the person that shot 65%. Come on, man. This is LeBron. I am more than a 0.4. Put respect on my name. I just saved the Looney. Yo, get out of here, man. Anyway, that's a funny comment. Appreciate it. Anyway, I'm not trying to hate on Russell Westbrook. We're talking basketball here. This has no effect on me. Like it doesn't bother me. All I'm saying is this. Russell Westbrook is a great playmaker, but he's going to hurt you at the free throw line. He's going to. And he still doesn't address the issue of three-point shooting. This is a problem. So now, if we look at the Lakers starting five, I don't even know who's in their starting five right now. They lost KCP. KCP was a great two-way player. He was an energy guy, and he brought a lot of toughness. That KCP was a good player. He is a great role player that they just lost. I'm sorry. KCP gave the Lakers more than Kyle Kuzma because he was more consistent, and Montrezl Harrell because Montrezl Harrell didn't even play. KCP was a big loss because he was a great three-point shooter, but he was a great defender. If you watch KCP play, the guy's always playing at 500 miles per hour. So he was a big loss, and I'm sure that the Lakers knew that. So them adding Russell Westbrook, will Russell Westbrook be better than LeBron? Well, this is the question. I think the question that everybody's trying to ask is this. Will LeBron be able to get more out of Russell Westbrook than Kevin Durant was able to get out of him? Because I think KD, as we've all noted, KD looked at Russell Westbrook and said, "This is a nice guy. This is my friend and all, but I don't believe I can win with him. And because I don't believe I can win with him, I got to go because he's the point guard. I'm not the point guard. I can't run the team. I can't run the team." So KD said, "I got to go to the Golden State Warriors." Now, LeBron and KD are two different players because LeBron is more of a a point forward, whereas KD is more of a scoring forward. But KD can also play defense and he does other things. I don't want to sell him short. KD can assist the ball. Like I don't want to. I don't. Let's not get it twisted. KD can do his thing. So I guess the question is, what we have to wait and see. Will LeBron work better with Russell Westbrook than KD? If I had to place a bet on it, I would say yes, just because of LeBron James's game. Just because of his game, I would say yes. Now, somebody asked me, where does this put the Lakers and the Clippers? Assuming if the question is, if you're asking me with this trade right now and the Clippers are still the same, I would still give the edge to the Clippers. The Clippers are the younger team. Their best players are younger. They're going to be coming in this year with a lot more confidence. Paul George is going to come in this year with a lot more confidence. I don't know if they're going to get Reggie Jackson and all of these guys. Reggie Jackson is going to have a lot more confidence. Terrence Mann is going to have a lot more confidence. They're still probably going to be one of the best three-point shooting teams in the NBA. They're still going to be the deepest team in the Western Conference for sure. They're still going to be the most versatile team. But the Lakers will probably have the most talent of any starting five, because if you bring out LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis, you got the most talent, and you have the most talent in a starting five. And then probably Andre Drummond. So the Lakers are probably the most talented starting five. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. They have the most talented starting five. Do they have the best fit as far as the starting five? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because I don't think the Lakers have enough spacing. You got to know your personnel. You got to know your personnel. Anthony Davis has a tendency to drift to the perimeter, so he can help. Okay, LeBron James can knock down the open three, but that's not his game. LeBron James, the majority of his offense is not generated from the 2 and the 3. It is generated from generated from the mid range and the 3-point line. It's generated from the basket and then out. If you look at those long 3-pointers he makes, sometimes he makes them, sometimes he misses them. I think a lot of that is just for show, but he's not a great 3-point shooter. LeBron is a slasher that can shoot. KD is a shooter that can slash. That's the fundamental difference. I hope that didn't go over the casuals' heads when I just said that. So I think their starting lineup, they will probably be a very good defensive rebounding team. I think they'll probably be, if not the number 1, but the number 2 ranked rated defense in the NBA. I think Russell Westbrook is going to help their defense without a doubt, because you have Anthony Davis, who I thought should have won the Defensive Player of the Year award 2 years ago. You have LeBron James, you have Russell Westbrook, you have Andre Drummond. You have a pretty stout defensive team. My issue is, where are they going to get the shooting from? This is my fundamental question. Where are they going to get the spacing from? This is my fundamental question, because the Lakers last season made 11.5 or 11.1 3-pointers a game. That's not going to be enough this year. Did you guys watch the playoffs? Did you see the Utah Jazz? Did y'all watch the Utah Jazz play in the playoffs? That team was it was a barrage. The Clippers were able to beat the Jazz, not just because they were able to defend them, but they were actually able to keep scoring. You got to keep scoring with these teams, because you're not going to shut all of them down. They're too talented. Montrezl Harrell opted out last year, but the Lakers considered trading him and Kuz to the Sacramento Kings. Poor Trez. Yeah, Trez, I don't know what's going on with Montrezl Harrell. Yo, what the? Hold up, what? Hold up, who is this dude? Who is this dude? Alright, whatever, man. I'm a clown, but you watching me. So what does that? What does that make you? Come on, son. Yo, if you're not feeling, let me get to my New York vibe. If you're not feeling it, bounce. Like, why you sitting here watching me? Like, come on, stop jerking off to me. You don't like me. You watching me. What's good? What, like, what's the issue? Come on, you don't like me. Leave. You sitting up here telling me I'm a clown. Cool, I'm a clown. Then leave. Why you watching the clown? What does that make you? What does that make you? I don't have the time to be blocking people. But come on, man. Like, you making yourself look like mad sensitive right now. Just leave. Like, come on, get out of here. Like, why you stalking me? You don't like me. Bounce. Just leave. What type? What type of like, yo? Like, come on, just get out. Like, come on, just bounce. You're not feeling it. You're not feeling me, but you watching me. So what that make you? If I'm a clown, what are you? You a dude that like to look at clowns? Come on, just bounce. You acting like a weirdo. Just bounce. Anyway, back to what I'm saying. I had to break character for a second. Anyway, so did the Lakers get better from a talent standpoint? I think they got better. Would I put them above the Clippers? I got to see what the Clippers are going to do. Remember, Kawhi Leonard, we don't even know if he's going to resign. We don't even know that. So Kawhi Leonard hasn't even resigned yet. Now, if he does resign, then you got to ask the question, well, who can they keep? Because I think the Clippers have some important decisions to make. You got Nicholas Batum, you got what's his name? Reggie Jackson. These are important players. And then you got Serge, who didn't do anything, but they still have him under contract. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I think the Lakers definitely got better from a talent standpoint. I think they're going to be a much more exciting team to watch. I think Russell Westbrook is going to make them a more gritty team. I think Russell Westbrook playing with LeBron James, LeBron is going to rub off on Russell Westbrook in a positive way. I definitely believe that. My only concern is this. What are they going to do with the shooting? And now that they've gotten rid of Montrezl Harrell, what happens to their bench? Because they still have Marc Gasol. So my verdict is this. I don't think that the Lakers are done making moves. This team that they have now, I don't believe right now in this second is a championship team because it's incomplete. The work is not done. They've added some great pieces, but they're not a championship team. And just in my opinion, it's a blockbuster move, but it still doesn't address their shooting. It doesn't address their shooting. My other thing I want to say is this, and I want to ask Laker fans that are watching this. LeBron is turning 37 years old this year. He'll probably retire in the next 2 years. He'll be 38 next year, 39. The question is this for Laker fans, and this is the question you got to ask yourselves. But I know Laker fans are thinking of right now. They're like, let's try to win this championship right now, and we'll look into the future. And I understand that. But the question is this, though. What happens in the future? Do you want Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook to be the cornerstone of the franchise? Russell Westbrook has a very big contract. And he's going to take up a lot of space. I proposed an idea to Laker fans. People got upset with me. I said that if I were the Lakers and I knew that Damian Lillard didn't want to be in Portland anymore, I would have considered trading one of my stars to get Damian Lillard and keep him. This was a controversial thing to say, but I still believe it. Looking forward, if I was the GM, I would have traded LeBron for Damian Lillard. I know that's a very controversial thing to say, but if I'm looking at a team that I want to be competitive for the next 4 years, 5 years, that's what I would have done. A lot of people were against that idea. Well, now the Lakers look like they're putting everything in on this season. It looks like they're going to roll the dice again and get everything and try to win it all this season. My only problem is that I don't think that this trade makes them the best team in the West. I don't think so, personally, because it doesn't address their shooting. Russell Westbrook is a horrendous free throw shooter. He is not a good 3-point shooter, so I don't know how it's going to work out. And I don't know how LeBron is going to play off the ball, given the fact that LeBron James customarily has not played off the ball. His history, he has not played off the ball. So I don't know how that's going to work. People are going to get on TV. They're going to start rubbing their titties and hyping it up and bouncing up and down on the stage, and start pop locking it or whatever. And they're going to be like, "This is the greatest trade in the world." But if you look at what actually they need, I don't believe this is it. This is just me. This is my honest opinion. Some people can feel away, but that's what I feel. I just feel like the Lakers needed to do something. I'm not sure if this makes them better than a healthy Brooklyn Nets team. I'm not sure. Because if the Brooklyn Nets are healthy, all of this that we hear talking, we can forget about all of that. KD by himself with a hobbled James Harden damn near beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Let me repeat that. Kevin Durant with a hobbled James Harden almost beat the entire Milwaukee Bucks by himself. And trust me, if the Lakers somehow manage to get to the finals and they look across the court and they see Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant sees them, he's going to be licking his chops, man. Because yes, the Lakers, they may have a good defensive team, but with the Brooklyn Nets, you got to be able to score with a team like that. We went over this all season long. The Brooklyn Nets top 3 players average about 75 points per game, just the 3 of them. Kyrie Irving shot over close to 40% from the 3. KD shot close to 40% from the 3. James Harden is in the mid-30s. They have 3 stars that can space the floor. They shoot a very high field goal percentage, so they don't really have a weakness. You may say it's their defense, but if they're putting up 125, 130 points, at that point, it doesn't even matter. The question is, can you score with them? This is the question we're going to have to wait to see. But, I think we're going to have to say this. But I got to say one last thing before I go. I got to say one last thing. LeBron James, man. Let me just say two things. Laker fans, I can understand you guys want to get better. So this is not a diss to Laker fans. It's you you want the best team possible. So Laker fans, this is not for you. What I'm about to say is not for you. But I gotta talk to LeBron James fans, man. Giannis just finished saying like 3 weeks ago, this is the way you do it. This is how you go out there and win a title. This is how you go out there and win a title. Then let me see. Then just one second. Then yeah. Then like 2 weeks later, just 2 weeks later, he goes out there and gets Russell. So help me understand something. Are we going to act? Are we going to act like the Lakers and LeBron did just put together another super team? Like, this dude just did it again. Like, I can't believe it. Are you telling me that LeBron cannot win without a super team? He just won last year. You would have thought, okay, I feel good about myself. Fine, you beat the number 5 Miami Heat. That's not your problem. It's not the Lakers' problem who they face in the finals. You have no choice over that. You can't choose your opponent. So nobody's going to hold that against them. But you just won with this team. And then the very next year, you go try to assemble another super team? When the year before you tried to assemble another super team by getting Kawhi Leonard? How can you be the GOAT? What type of GOAT is this? Like, we going to sit up here and act like LeBron did not just try to just basically put together another super team. And y'all are cool with this? This your GOAT? I think it's pathetic. I think it's weak. I think it's pathetic, man. I'm sorry. I can't it's too much. It's pathetic. It is so pathetic. Like, oh my god! And then and you know what's going to happen if the Lakers win a title? Guess who's going to get no credit? Russell Westbrook, AD. People going to still walk around talking about this is the greatest. Come on, LeBron, man. Come on, man. Like, it's too much. Kevin Durant is the same thing. They're all in the same boat. In the last 10 years, the only players that I can think of that legitimately won without a super team, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dirk Nowitzki. Some people will say Stephen Curry. That's it. That's it. In the same period, LeBron won 3 titles on 3 super teams. Miami Heat, he won 2. With the Cleveland Cavaliers, with Kyrie Irving, some people say he wasn't an all-star when he got there. It was an all-star the year before. What are we talking about the year after? I just think it's so weak, man. It's like, again? Again? Come on, man. Hey, listen. I know this is some people's favorite player, but yo, this is mad lame, yo. It's so lame. You just watch Giannis win. And oh my God. This is why I say that when LeBron retires, for as great as he is, I think the NBA needs a break from this. Like, it's enough. It's enough, bro. For the last 10 years, it has been an arms race for who can assemble the super team. And he's the one. Like, enough is enough. Enough is enough, man. Like, nobody cared. Look at what people are saying about Kevin Durant when he went to go in with the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, he was the best player on the team, but people are still going to be looking at him sideways because he was on a super team. And now you put come, like, listen, LeBron, man. I got a question having him. Like, I got LeBron in my top 5 all time, but this is wild lame. It is beyond lame. I don't care if they hating on me. It isn't what is it doing to me? Like, I'm gonna finish this live and go to bed, and then so what? Like, what? I don't care. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm still gonna go to bed and sleep. So it doesn't matter. You laughing at me? I'm finishing this live. I'm gonna go to bed. So, like, you feel like you hate me. You're not doing it. You're not doing a damn thing to me. Anyway, like, it's just crazy to me. Anyway, Laker fans, congratulations, man. You guys got another. For the Laker fans, it's good for you guys because you guys want to win. But for the LeBron fans, y'all got to be looking at your man. And then people going to still jump up and say, this is the GOAT. They're going to be there rubbing their titties and say, this is the GOAT. And I'm like, what? Anyway, I just think it's wild lame. I just think it's lame. And I think this is what basketball doesn't need. We don't need any more of this. Look how many people were excited for Giannis to win. It's like, finally, a normal championship, not a championship on steroids. And now all of a sudden, just a year later, we back. Oh, they go to Lakers in 4. Remember, there we go. There we go. Anyway, thank you guys for being. Thank you. Yeah, they rubbing their titties, man. I don't, like, dudes is getting mad at me. Why am I crying? Meanwhile, I'm about to go to bed. So whatever. Anyway, man, appreciate you guys for being a part of this live. Hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. We had the people coming up in here talking I'm a hater and all of this, whatever. Anyway, yeah, they got really insecure, man. I saw it. It was crazy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live. Thank you guys for checking in with us, man. And looks like free agency's begun. So it looks like we're going to get ready to do some more lives. I thought that we were going to wait for at least another week, but we're going to be doing the lives again. Appreciate that. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Hopefully you enjoyed the basketball breakdown. catch you guys on the next one. And also, real quick, I noticed you guys also have a lot of questions that you guys like to ask me. So if you guys want to follow us on Dreamers Pro on Instagram, I'm gonna post that there right now. You guys can follow us there. I try to answer some questions when you guys do that. So I'm gonna post that right here, and I'm gonna pin that to the top. So I just posted our Instagram. So if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, make sure you do that. We do answer questions. We're going to be posting there a little bit more in the second half of this once the season starts. So make sure you guys follow us on Instagram. We just pinned it to the top. Follow us there. We're going to be posting more. We do updates, and we also talk about basketball. We post a lot of polls on there. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And we'll definitely catch you guys on the next one. Once again, man, this is Charles here from Dreamers Pro. Make sure you guys take it easy. Appreciate that. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.